Hi everyone, we're going to continue our work with simplifying radicals. Now we're going to get into adding and subtracting radicals. So with this one, what I want you to think of is adding and subtracting radicals as combining like terms with variables. We only combine x cubes with other x cubes. We combine x squareds with other x squareds. We can't add 3x cubed and 2x squared. We just don't combine those two. But we can add 2x squared plus 3x squared to get 5x squared. Think about those same rules with those variables as adding and subtracting radicals. I could only add square root 12s with other square root 12s. I could only add the square root of 48 with other square root 48s. So right now I can't combine any three of these because they're all different. However, hopefully they all stand out to you that they can be simplified. So whenever you can simplify a radical, you need to do that first. So let's simplify each and every one of these. This is 4 times 3. So we get 2 square root 3. This is 16 times 3. So it's the same thing as 4 square root 3, because the square root of 16 is 4. And now this is 9 times 3. So that's the same thing as 3 square root 3. This 9 times 3 breaks down, the 9 comes outside as a 3, and I still have the square root of 3 left inside. So now I have 2 square root 3 plus 4 square root 3 minus 3 square root 3. Now I can combine like terms. I have square root 3, square root 3, square root 3. So it's just like saying I have 2x plus 4x minus 3x. If you were to combine like terms here, you would get 6x's right here minus 3x, so you would get 3x. In the same way, we're going to treat these radicals with a lot of the same rules as with variables. We have 2 square root 3 plus 4 square root 3. This makes 6 square root 3. And 6 square root 3 minus 3 square root 3 is 3 square root 3. So we're just kind of adding up the coefficients. 2 plus 4 is 6, and 6 minus 3 is 3. So our answer is 3 square root 3. Why don't you guys pause the video, take a minute to try 16 on your own. When you did 16, hopefully you broke down all of these to get 49 times 2, which is 7 square root 2. Hopefully you did 36 times 2, so that would be 6 square root 2. And then this 32 is 16 times 2, so you should get 4 square root 2. So we're subtracting, and then we're adding. So now we have square root 2 and square root 2 and square root 2, so we can combine like terms by adding those coefficients. So 7 minus 6 is 1, and 1 plus 4 is 5. So our answer is 5 square root 2. 5 times the square root of 2 is hopefully what you got for problem number 16. Problem number 17, watch this. You have a bunch of radicals. You could only add and subtract radicals that are the exact same. So far none of them are, but we try to break all of these down. This 3 square root 3, you can't break down at all, so I'm just going to carry it down to the next line. 3 square root 3. 72 is the same thing as 36 times 2. And then 36 is the same thing as 6. The square root of 36 is the same thing as 6. So I get 6 square root 2. 128, that breaks down into 64 times 2. So I have this negative 5. I should probably put a positive sign here. So 3 square root 3 plus 6 square root 2. Getting back over to this one now, it's minus 5, and 128 is 64 times 2. The square root of 64 is 8, so 8 comes out, and then a negative 5 times 8 is a negative 40. So I have minus 40 square root 2. And then 108, that can be broken down into 36 times 3. So I have 2 times the square root of 36 times 3. And the square root of 36 is 6. So 6 comes out, and 6 times 2 is 12. So I have plus 12 square root 3. Whew, a lot of simplifying. You're going to get a lot of practice with this today. So now I can combine square root 3's with other square root 3's. And I can combine square root 2's with other square root 2's. So my final answer here is 3 square root 3 plus 12 square root 3 is 15 square root 3. And 6 square root 2 minus 40 square root 2 is a negative 34 square root 2. And there's our answer for problem number 17. To let you know, Excel Math, they can have these in either order. So if Excel Math has a negative 34 square root 2 plus 15 square root 3, that's very possible, so just be aware that they might have either of these two answers. Okay, you guys pause the video. Why don't you try number 18 on your own? Hopefully you broke down 20 to get 5 times 4. Hopefully you broke down 24 to get 6 times 4. Hopefully you broke down 180 to be 36 times 5. And hopefully you broke down 54 to be 9 times 6. So if we take this 4 out, the square root of 4 is 2, and 2 times 5 is 10. So 10 square root 5. You take this 4 out, and you would get plus 2 square root 6. Take this 6 out, and it's a minus 1 right there, so a minus 6 square root 5. And then this 9 can come out as a 3, and 3 times 9 is 27, so plus 27 square root 6. Hopefully you got that when you simplified it. Now we're just going to combine like terms, so square root 5 and square root 5. 10 minus 6 is 4 square root 5. And then square root 6 and square root 6. 2 plus 27 is 29 square root 6. My final answer, 4 square root 5. And I must have done something wrong. Where did I go wrong here, class? Yep, found my mistake, and I'm sure you guys found it before I did. When I took the square root of 9, that's 3. 3 times 7 is 21. So 21 square root 6 plus 2 square root 6 is 23 square root 6. There we have it, 4 square root 5 plus 23 square root 6. And we finish our lesson here with multiplying radicals. So hopefully nothing too new. It's just going to be the distributive property. We're going to take 3 times this binomial, so it's going to be 3 times 5, and 3 times the negative square root 2. So 3 times 5 is 15, and then 3 times the negative square root 2. We basically multiply the coefficients by each other, so 3 times a negative 1 is a negative 3, and then we multiply the radicals by each other, which there's just one radical. It's the square root of 2. So my answer is 15 minus 3 square root 2. That's my answer for problem number 19. Problem number 20, pause the video please, try this one on your own. You should multiply the radicals by, or the coefficients by each other, which they're both coefficients of just 1, so then you get 1. And then you multiply the radical, square root 6 times square root 11 is the square root of 66. So we get the square root of 66, and then we have the radical distributed with the integer of a negative 2, which is just minus 2 square root 6. So hopefully that's what you got for problem number 20. The square root of 66 can't be broken down at all, so you just leave it like that. For number 21, our process here, we have a binomial times a binomial. Whenever you have that, you're going to FOIL. That's how you multiply a binomial times a binomial. So first times the first is 6. Outside, 3 times square root 6 is 3 square root 6. Inside, 2 times square root 7 is 2 square root 7. And the last square root 7 times square root 6 is square root 42. Once you get to this stage, you see if you can combine like terms or combine like radicals, but I can only combine square root 6's with other square root 6's, square root 7's with other square root 7's, square root 42's with other square root 42's. So I can't combine any terms. Secondly, I checked to see if I could break down any radicals. I can't break down the square root of 6. I cannot break down the square root of 7. I cannot break down the square root of 42. So my answer, as gross as it might look, is left like this. Problem number 22. You guys try this one on your own. So it's 3 minus the square root of 5, that quantity squared. This one might have tricked a lot of you. 3 minus the square root of 3 minus the square root of 5 squared is saying that you're going to multiply it by itself. So multiply it by another square root of 3 minus square root of 5. Now our process is going to be FOIL. A lot of you probably squared the square root of 3 and squared the square root of 5 and got your answer, and that's good thinking, but it's not correct. The square root of 3 minus the square root of 5, that squared means multiply it by itself. So now we're going to FOIL. First times first. Square root of 3 times square root of 3 is square root of 9. Outside, square root of 3 times a negative square root of 5 is a negative square root of 15. Inside, a negative square root of 5 times square root of 3 is again a negative square root of 15. And last, a negative times a negative is a positive. Square root of 5 times square root of 5 is square root of 25. Let's simplify all these radicals now. The square root of 9 is 3. I can't break down the square root of 15s. However, I can add them because the radicals are the same. So it's a minus 1 square root of 15 plus a minus 1 square root of 15 is minus 2 square root of 15. And then I have the square root of 25, which is 5. Whew! So my final answer, 3 plus 5 is 8 minus 2 times the square root of 15. And that is as far as you can break that one down. So that's the answer for problem number 22. It's a lot of stuff. Be sure to let me know if you have any questions tomorrow. I could really go through some more individual problems with you to give you a further understanding of these concepts. So please, class, if there's something that you don't quite understand, please feel free to ask me questions when you get to class tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody.